They keep telling you to find yourself, as if you were a set of car keys, misplaced between yesterday and tomorrow. They say you need to go on a journey, climb the mountains of purpose, dive into the oceans of healing, pack your bags, set your goals, fix your life. But what if the entire premise was backward? What if the only reason you feel lost is because you've believed all along that there was somewhere else you were supposed to be? What if you were never lost? Because how could you be? Where could you go that isn't here? Who could you become that isn't already you? It is the mind that draws a map and declares it missing. It is the ego that builds a maze, then forgets it's holding the blueprint. It is thought that says you are not enough. You are not there yet. And so the search begins. You look for yourself in books, in lovers, in cities and systems, in plans and strategies, morning routines, and optimized potential. You meditate to get somewhere. You breathe to become calm. You hustle to one day feel whole. But the present moment is not a vehicle. It is not a stepping stone toward the real. It is the real. And the self you are searching for, the true self, is the one who's watching all this happen, silently, constantly, without effort. You see, the mind loves to play hide and seek. It constructs identities like paper masks. The achiever, the healer, the victim, the guru. But masks are not flaws. They are part of the game. And the game only becomes suffering when you forget it's a game. The ancient sages, the mystics, the madmen, they all said the same thing in different ways. You are not a wave trying to become the ocean. You are the ocean pretending to be a wave. You were never broken. You were never behind. You were never late. Only your thoughts told you that. There is nothing wrong with trying. Nothing wrong with improving, exploring, becoming. But see it clearly. None of it makes you more real. None of it makes you more worthy. It is simply the dance of form. And you, dear listener, are the space the dance happens in. The formless, watching the form, the silence, listening to the noise, the stillness underneath the storm. So let's ask a dangerous question. Who are you when you stop trying to become? Not forever, just for now. If you close your eyes and let the mind dissolve like mist in sunlight, what remains? What remains when you forget your name, your roles, your story? Something does. It has no label, no agenda, no fear of being lost because it never left. You cannot become what you already are. You can only awaken to it. This is why the masters speak in riddles, why truth feels like contradiction, because the deeper you go, the more language begins to fail. You are not a thing. You are not an object. You are a happening, an unfolding, a wave of consciousness expressing itself as you. The moment you stop clutching for certainty, life floods in. The moment you stop chasing happiness, joy begins to dance without reason. The moment you let go of the path, you realize you were never not on it. But make no mistake, this is not about checking out. It's about checking in to the only thing that has ever been real. Now, because right now, beneath the thoughts that say, this isn't it, there's something sacred, simple, complete. It's not waiting for a better version of you. It's not asking you to heal first, or succeed first, or understand it all. It just asks for your attention, not your effort, just your being. Feel that? That's the presence that was never gone. That's the home you were never exiled from. You don't need to believe in it. You don't need to convince yourself. You just need to stop believing you're anywhere else. Because the truth is not complicated. It's not somewhere up in the clouds of intellect or buried in the rubble of trauma. It's here, as close as your breath, as soft as your heartbeat, as quiet as the space between your thoughts. And in that space, there is no judgment, there is no scorecard, there is no self to fix, just this unspeakable aliveness, this mystery wrapped in skin, this miracle pretending to be mundane. So let yourself fall back into it, not like a goal, not like an escape, but like a leaf returning to the wind. Let the wave remember it's the ocean. Let the self remember it's the whole. Because you were never lost. You only believed the story that you were. And that's okay. Even the illusion was part of the design. Even forgetting is a sacred part of remembering. There is no step you can skip, no moment that was wasted, no wrong turn on this pathless path. Everything, yes, everything was the way. You don't have to fix yourself to arrive. You don't have to decode your pain to be. You're allowed to stop right here, right now, You are not behind, you are not broken, you are not missing. You are the sky, watching clouds of thought come and go. You are the witness behind every mask. You are the still point in a world of spinning wheels. And when you let go of trying to find yourself, you see clearly you were never lost. You were always here. Welcome back. But the mind doesn't give up that easily. It will whisper, sure, you feel whole now, but what about tomorrow? What if you lose it again? What if this is just another illusion? And the trick is that voice is not the enemy. It's part of the game. Because you see this whole drama of forgetting and remembering, of suffering and release, of seeking and awakening. It's all part of the music. It's not a mistake. It's a movement, a breath of the universe, inhaling as you forget, exhaling as you remember. There was never a final arrival, only the rhythm of coming home again and again and again. Even the confusion is holy. Even the pain was purposeful, not because it was necessary to suffer, but because it was necessary to feel. To be alive is to feel, even when it burns, even when it shatters the image you built of yourself, especially then. You were never meant to be a statue. You are not here to become a frozen monument of perfection. You are here to flow, to break, to dance, to dissolve, to reappear. You are here to remember and forget and remember again. The ego says, be somebody. The soul says, be everything. And so the tension builds between form and formlessness, between who you think you are and what you actually are. You are not this story. You are the storyteller. You are not the thought. You are the field in which thought arises. You are not the mask. You are the face before it knew a name. And when you see that clearly, even just for a breath, you stop taking it all so personally. You stop gripping the wheel. You stop demanding answers. You stop asking life to be anything other than what it is. And in that surrender, there is peace. Not the peace of perfect conditions, but the peace of no longer needing them. A stillness that hums beneath the chaos. A quiet that doesn't come from the absence of noise, but from knowing none of it defines you. You start to laugh more easily. You cry more freely. You hold things a little more lightly. Even your dreams, even your grief, because now you understand. You don't belong to the world. You are the world, experiencing itself. And this identity you've carried, this self-image you've polished like a trophy, it was never wrong. It just wasn't the whole truth. It was a doorway, a costume worn by the infinite, so it could taste the finite. You were never supposed to escape your humanity. You were meant to live it fully, knowing you are more. And when you walk through life like that, anchored in something deeper, yet dancing with the temporary, everything changes. Pain still comes, but it doesn't define you. Loss still visits, but it doesn't destroy you. Fear still speaks, but it no longer commands you. Because your center is no longer in the shifting. It's in the stillness behind the shift. And from that stillness, you begin to see that everyone is you in disguise. The stranger on the train, the partner who hurt you, the child you once were. All of it, different masks on the same mystery. All of it, fragments of the same song. And suddenly, compassion isn't a practice. It's a natural response. Because how could you hate the other when you see the other is you? How could you stay angry when you realize the one who wounded you was wounded too? This is the paradox of awakening. It doesn't make you special. It makes you nobody. And in being nobody, you belong to everything. The leaf doesn't need to control the wind. It simply moves with it. The wave doesn't need to conquer the ocean. It knows it is the ocean, temporarily rising and falling. And you don't need to chase your wholeness anymore. It was never in the future. It was never in the healing. It was never waiting at the top of some imaginary mountain of enlightenment. It was here, always, right here, behind the noise, beneath the rolls, before the thought. You were never lost. You just forgot to look inward. You just got caught in the movie, the beautiful, brutal, brilliant movie of being human. And now, as the credits begin to roll on the old story, you don't need to rush out of the theater. You don't need to rewrite the plot. You just need to sit for a moment. And remember that you are the screen the movie was playing on, unchanging, untouched, aware. This is not the end. This is not the answer. This is a door, a breath, an invitation. Let it echo through your bones. You were never lost. You are not becoming something. You are remembering what can't be forgotten. You are not healing to be whole. You are discovering that wholeness was always the ground beneath your feet, even when it was covered in dust, even when you wept, even when you begged the sky for direction. You were held, you were guided, you were home. Not someday, not when you finally get it right, but now, now, now.